Welcome to JavaScript tutorial series for beginners. In this video, we're going to learn about date object in JavaScript. So first question is, what is date and time? I don't need to explain this. Everyone knows what is date and what is time. But how to handle the date and time in JavaScript, that is the question. And we're going to learn that today. So in JavaScript, there's an object, inbuilt object called date. And using this date object, you can manipulate the date or time. So let's open the console and see how can we write our date. The syntax is very simple. You just have to create a new date, and that is going to create a date with the current time. So my current time is 1 o'clock 46 p.m. and I'm in India, so it is Indian Standard Time. The time zone is Indian Standard Time. Now you can see that I have not passed any parameters in this date object, and that's why it is creating the current time and current date. But what if I add some parameters here? If you check the documentation of the date object in MDN, you can find that you can actually pass many parameters like year, month, and date, hour, minute, and seconds. So I'm going to create a new date, 2024 0. By the way, in JavaScript, the date value, the month value starts from 0. So 0 is the January, 0 and 1 is the 1st January, 4 o'clock, 30 minutes, and then maybe 10 seconds. Now you can see it's created one date, that is January 1st, 2024, 4:30 a.m. and 10 seconds in our current time zone, that is Indian Standard Time. Now if you remove any parameters from the right side, like I don't want to pass 10 seconds or 30 minutes, then what happens? It creates one date with minute as 0 and seconds as 0. So these are the possible ways of creating a date object. If you create just one new date without any parameters, it will create the current time, current date. And if you pass in a string like this is called ISO string. I'm going to explain this later, but you can also pass your date value in a string and it will create one date, or you can create like this, year, month, and date. And finally, this is the final way of creating date, that is with milliseconds. So for any computer programmers, you should learn about the millisecond date. This is not specific to JavaScript, this is specific to any computers. Like if you have a millisecond date, then that means the date is calculated from January 1970, because before 1970 there was no computer, so it was designed like that. And also the date object stores the date in millisecond format. Now let's create one date object, date, and if you call dot get time, it will return the millisecond time. So this is the millisecond time, and this millisecond is calculated from January 1st 1970. You can also check the time converter, like for example this website, epoch converter. Here if you paste our time and if you convert it, it will convert the time, that is current date. Today is May 16th, so it is converted to current date. And this is also one good website, Unix timestamp. Here it shows the current time in milliseconds since January 1st 1970 in UTC time. So now that we have this time, millisecond time, you can use this millisecond time to create one date object. So if you create a date object like this, date, this millisecond will be today's date only. But suppose I change it a little bit. If I change from here something like this, you can see this is March 19th. So in that way you can use this date constructor to create a date object with milliseconds. Also, these milliseconds are useful to calculate the difference between different dates. Like for example, if I create one date object like this, let new date, okay, then let d equals to new date, then I wait for some time, and after that I'm creating let d1 equals to new date. So there will be something like 5-6 seconds difference, right? So if I just check d1.get time minus d2.get time, d.get time, you can see that this is around 9-second difference. So I created one new date, then after 9 seconds I created another date, that is d1, and I checked the time difference. So this is also useful. Sometimes you need to get the millisecond times to calculate something. Okay, now let's talk about date string. Now you have checked that I created one date called d, and if I just print d, it is printing one string. So that is same as d dot toString. So d.toString will return the string representation of the date. Now this is one standard. Another standard is the ISO string. So if you call d.get or toISO string, this will convert the date to ISO standard. So this is a standard to represent a date. So that is at first year, then month, then date, then after t it has the time value, that is 8:24. As you can see that it is 8:24, but current time is around 1 o'clock, right? 2 o'clock. So why is this happening? Because at last you can see that z value, z or z, this is for the time zone. So that means the time zone is GMT, and that is not the IST time. So that's why the time value is different. So it is like 8:30 in the morning. So that is the ISO standard. Now another one is the UTC. So if you convert it to UTC string, this format is a little different. You can see that both are different formats. Like ISO string is also one format and UTC string is also one format. And you can also see that both are in GMT time. In the second example, it is mentioned, time zone is mentioned as GMT. Now if you want to know the time zone offset, then that also you can check, like d dot get time zone offset. That will return the time zone in minutes. So currently if I convert 330 divided by 60, it is around 5.5 hours. Indian standard time is 5.5 hours different, so that's why it is like 330. So that's how the date object works. So that's it for today's video. If you have any questions, then please ask me in the comment section, and if you like the video, please hit like. And if you're liking the series and you want to watch my other videos, then you can also consider subscribing, and that is going to help me a lot. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.